My phone lights up, but it's never you. I can't help but feel so lonely. I know there's things that I can't undo. I'm falling apart so slowly. Come alive when
Welcome to episode 2 of Engage 8 Entertainment Podcast. And here's your crew: Hayden Hammett, Austin Aldridge, Luke Tankersley, Sam Poindexter, Grayson Munyon, Braxton Krause. I'm Colton Anderson, and here's your host, Nolan Adams.
All right, boys, let's go ahead and kick it off with our first topic. It's the thoughts on the rule changes in the MLB, such as 3 batter minimum per pitcher, bigger rosters, and as well as more teams in the playoffs. Give me your thoughts, Hayden.
I like the idea of the 3 batter minimum. I think it makes teams use a guy that they plan to use regardless of his early performances. I like more playoff teams. It adds some spice to the playoffs and gets more fan bases involved in that tradition. So yeah, I like the moves they're making right now.
Awesome. Colton.
So I don't really like any of them, to be honest. I think the 3 batter minimum takes away the specialty pitchers in the NL who are literally come in to pitch to 1 batter, and that's all they do. I think 14 teams, you're adding an extra game, but why don't they just make it the wild card a series instead of just 1 game, like the rest of the season series? So, and then the roster size, I don't really think that's going to change much, but that's kind of just how I look at it.
Dale.
There's not many that I really agree with, but I do agree with the 3 batter minimum. I think it adds pressure to the pitchers, so they have to pitch against righties and lefties. I think it's good for the game. It adds more strategy to each team. They can't just throw one guy out there and switch it up for another matchup. Larger rosters are good for players. It gives more guys an opportunity. And then the 14 playoffs, last year, if that was the case, Cleveland, Boston, and the Mets and Arizona would have got in. I don't like it. It puts less pressure on the teams to win games throughout the year, and only should be a 4 wild card teams. It shouldn't be 8.
All righty. All right, let's go to Sam.
Well, I like the playoff format, kind of how it is now. Except for I do think the wild card, instead of being just a 1-game playoff, I think it should be a 3-game playoff. I think that
because those Yankees get knocked out too much.
Yeah, well, Grayson, go O's, go, baby.
Yeah, Grayson, what was your team in the playoffs again?
Number 1 pick 6 years in a row. Anyways, but yeah, and I think the 3 batter minimum's good because you can't just say there's a lefty up to bat, but there's 2 righties after. You can't just cheese it now and bring in a lefty to throw to 1 batter and then just get them out and then just have righties on righties. And it definitely kind of favors the hitters a lot more. And I like the idea.
All right, B-Rex.
No comment.
No comment.
Good take there.
Go ahead and go Tank.
Boy.
On the playoff thing, I'm a little bit iffy because, if you add those extra teams, you could, adds a little, randomness, little wild card, little excitement to the playoffs. But I do agree with Dale. If you do add those teams, it takes away the urge to win more games and finish first in your division. I do like the new roster spot. You can call up a prospect that you've been wanting to call up for a while, get them some extra at-bats or something. The 3 batter minimum, eliminates the pit, having to bring in specialty pitchers, lefty and righty, switch them after every batter, eliminates that and puts a little more pressure on those weaker pitchers.
All right, Grayson.
I would say the 3 batter minimum. I disagree with that rule. I think that managers should be allowed to coach in their style of play that they would like to. I mean, not all managers are going to do that style, but I think it's just being smart with how you want to attack certain batters and how you want to use different pitchers. The new playoff format, I think that it should stay the way it is. Keep it challenging. I mean, 10 of the 30 teams only get in. That's pretty challenging to do. I think they should be rewarded 14 out of 30. It'll diminish the greatness of how the playoffs
half
is.
the league.
Yeah, it's almost half the league. It's insane.
It's like
and then
you get-
the roster changes I'm fine with. I think that's a good add and something that the game could embrace.
You also got to think that like with the larger rosters, the minor league season ends like 1 or 2 months before the actual baseball season ends. That's before postseason.
It's only
So, I mean-
one extra
Yeah.
spot though.
That's
It's like-
gonna
Still, I mean, it's like a top
29?
prospect,
I have
you
a
can bring
question.
them up.
29. It's
I-
20,
Go ahead,
24.
Hayden. Go ahead, Hayden. Go ahead.
Oh,
So
it's
for y'all
29.
saying y'all
26.
don't like more
that
teams
up.
in the MLB playoffs? For y'all saying y'all don't like more teams in the MLB playoffs? Do
No,
y'all like
I
the
don't.
16? Do you like the 16-team NBA playoff format then?
It's
that's
different.
more
It's
than-
the- that's
how's-
it's the
It's
so here's-
always
it's
been
the-
that way.
It's always been that way in
It's
the
always
NBA,
been
and
that
it's
way.
always been that way in MLB.
Well, change it for better. I mean, think
Well,
about it. How many times?
why
the
why not do
MLB,
this?
The
I
MLB,
mean-
the MLB is probably one of the main professional sports where the wild card teams make a run. If you have a
Well-
lot of those teams, more viewership, more people are cheering for the underdogs.
Why don't you
MLB
just
playoffs is
MLB
good how it is. It doesn't need to be changed.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean,
okay.
it's
The
always good
only thing if they're
You
gonna
can't say
change
that,
one
though.
thing, hold on. If they're gonna change one thing, every single game in the MLB a team plays is a series. You make it to the wild card, you play one game. That doesn't make much sense. I would make it at least a 3-game minimum.
Yes,
if they're
just
gonna
keep
change
it
anything.
the same playoffs. With
Keep it the same or add a 3-game minimum. But
Alright,
no
alright.
need to add teams.
Hey, real quick, I'm
Right.
not trying to get us off topic, but I think if any rule should be made, I think there should be a rule about like the NL having a DH now instead of making the pitchers hit.
Oh,
I
that's a
think
whole nother episode
that's a whole other
worth.
thing. I'm just
Jeez.
saying. that should be
yeah.
a rule.
Okay,
I
we're
agree.
gonna go and when do y'all believe that the MLB will start up again? If y'all had to predict it,
June.
Pick one, Nolan. Pick one, Nolan.
What do you think?
go ahead,
Nolan?
Hayden.
Your take.
I think we really don't know. I mean, we can predict now, but whenever this coronavirus thing gets settled, there's still going to be time for teams to prepare properly. So we really don't know. You hope for June. You expect for the worst, though. So you really just everything's up in the air right now.
Either way, whenever they start back, they're going to need at least 2 weeks of spring training because you can't just go from not seeing live pitching to just being thrown in there and seeing 95 plus. Or
You're thinking that from
Okay,
a batter's
okay, okay.
perspective.
yeah,
Okay,
but
do y'all,
think
do
about
y'all
a
think
pitcher's
this is gonna
perspective. They
expand
got
the
to
season?
Yeah, even
Do y'all
longer.
think this is gonna elongate the season? Is it gonna still end in November or no?
I think the season. I think
October,
the
or-
season ends.
It goes
in
to November.
I think they play through.
Yeah,
November.
yeah, I think it ends in
Yeah,
November.
They're gonna have
Through
to move
November?
to a neutral. They're gonna have to move to a neutral site for the World Series though, because it's gonna be too cold to play. Well, if you
They'll have
think
to go
about
somewhere
who's gonna be in
south.
it,
They'll have to go or somewhere indoors. They could go.
that's
somewhere.
what I'm thinking. Yeah, an
They'll
indoor
probably
stadium.
go to Toronto or something.
Tampa Bay. Tampa
Texas
Bay.
No.
is
Yeah,
new stadium.
the
I
last
wouldn't go
place
to
they should go.
Toronto because Toronto. if they-
Austin, when do you think it'll start up again?
Reports say that it's going to be late June or July, which would actually be like when the All-Star break's happening, which sucks. But I mean, I see it happening in like either like I said, late June, early July. And do I think they're going to go back to spring training?
They have to.
I could see that they have to, but I feel like these are professional athletes who have been doing it for their whole lives, and they're doing it right now. I mean, they have the people, they have the equipment to hit live and keep them going until the regular season. I feel like they'll allow like 2 weeks of practice maybe, but I feel like they won't go back to spring training.
It's gonna be
But I mean-
so sloppy if they don't go to spring training.
If Kirk Herbstreit highly doubts there's going to be a college football or NFL season, how are we going to do an MLB season when that's supposed to start before college or NFL? I mean,
Supposed to curb Kurt streak.
Yeah,
We're also
I
all we're
just-
doing is
Kirk
predicting.
Herbstreit's one of the highest, biggest names in college football right now when it comes to like in the know.
Didn't know
Sam,
Kirk
give me your
Herbstreit worked
opinion.
for the CDC.
Um,
Well, Tank,
I'm
if you
thinking.
didn't know
I'm
about the
thinking.
CDC,
I'm
it would
thinking spring
be
training.
much longer
I'm thinking
than
spring training's
June.
probably gonna start. I think they're gonna start spring training mid to late June, if probably at best mid to
Okay,
late.
how about this? How about
I
this?
think that
With-
they start. Damn, let me talk, son.
Hey, dude.
Yeah, and I think in July, July the season will start, and I think the games will definitely be shortened. They're gonna have to, but and I think that they're gonna play a couple of doubleheaders for sure.
All right.
Not a lot.
So, do you think like let's just say you go back and let's say each team has like 3 games? Would y'all be fine with that? 3 spring training games and then jump into the regular season?
What's 3 games gonna do? To be honest,
It's better than none.
I think they just need give them 2 weeks. Like
I think
shorten
they
the
do-
season, give them 2 weeks.
Oh no! I bet they could do double header days of spring training.
But you also
And
got to think. You also got to think if they give them 2 weeks of spring training, that also even furthers the opening day start. They have to start opening day as soon as possible to get the whole season in.
Well,
Yeah, but
I think
be
they're gonna shorten the season anyways.
They're gonna
Oh, yeah.
They're gonna be
They
very
have to.
cautious of this. They can't rush this back to get the season going
Yeah.
if everything's not settled.
I mean, I think it starts when the NBA starts. It's the same situation. I mean,
Everything's starting at the same time. to be
everything-
honest,
everything will start back this year.
I
y'all
think that MLB is going to start later than NBA because NBA is willing to play without fans. MLB already said they're not playing unless fans are in the stadiums.
that's true. I
Do
mean,
y'all
we saw
think
how
the,
boring the Orioles game was with no
Well, yeah.
fans.
Well, here's the thing: NBA can still make
Just
money.
thought I'd throw that one out
That's how,
there.
NBA
that's
can
how the
still
games
make-
are.
okay.
anyway.
All right, okay. Brax, do you have an opinion on this or no?
I'm thinking MLB. I'm thinking mid to late July. I don't see if there's
agree with
it all
that.
depends
I
on
agree with that.
depends on a vaccine. Vaccines found.
All right, Luke.
I mean, the truth is, I mean, you don't know. I mean, you're hoping for mid to late June right now. I mean, I guess that's what you can hope for. I mean, I guess if you're coming from that point, you can say, like, hey, give like a week of practice or like some kind of spring training type of thing. I mean, you could say that. I mean, either way, the season's going to have to be shortened, but at this point, we just don't know.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, Munyon.
I mean, right now a lot of people would like to know, but I mean, just up in the air. It all depends. And I mean, if I were to say, I would probably say sometime in July. But I mean, I think it could be even later because they're wanting to have all the fans in the stadium if that's going to happen, and that could be even later because
Yeah, that's
with this
hard. That's
pandemic,
gonna be
it's
hard
just
to do,
going
dude.
up right now. The peak hasn't hit yet from what most of the experts have said. So, it's you really don't know right now.
All right, we're gonna go and move on to the NBA. All right, so when does the season start back is a very big topic right now. So I know you're gonna have a lot to say about this, Grayson. What do you think?
I mean, I think the season will resume. I don't think they're going to cancel it. I would say probably sometime in June, and I don't know if they'll go straight to the playoffs or not. I mean, if they go straight to the playoffs, it'll be interesting. But I don't know. I think that they're going to have some sort of regular season schedule, but it's not going to be as many games as left. I would say probably 10 or under regular season games and then straight into the playoffs, if not going straight into the playoffs. Just have to see about that.
All right, Luke.
I mean, it just depends on where you start, but I mean, I think they go straight into the playoffs. Maybe give like the teams like 5 extra games, or maybe just go into the playoffs. But the thing is like I'm not trying to get off topic, but like they're willing to play without fans. But like as a fan, would you be? Oh my god! As a fan, would you be scared to go to an NBA game after this is all done? I mean, that's the thing. Like these organizations are going to lose money from this, so.
There's
Yeah,
some
but
diehard fans.
we
though.
see
They're-
people-
They're definitely going to go. Fans are still definitely going to
Everyone's gonna go.
People aren't
I'll be
even
in the
staying
FedEx
home
Forum.
after
Yeah.
they've said stay at home. We're in
Wait, who are you gonna go watch, Austin?
quarantine.
The Lakers and the Memphis Grizzlies play.
That'll be a quick series.
It might be.
All right, hey, let's hold up.
Going.
Let's hold up. All right,
On
Brax.
the
Hayden, if you have
okay.
something, Hayden, if you have something to say, you go ahead.
Yeah, when Munyon brought up the going straight to playoffs or playing a couple games, I think playing a couple games would be ideal, but then
That
you're gonna
too.
have a lot of team uncertainty and fan unhappiness because what games that you had on schedule are gonna get taken out, and what games are you gonna have scheduled? So say the Grizzlies had the hardest teams they have to play now, and the Pelicans got their easiest games. Of course, the Grizzlies organization is gonna be like they got dipped out of a chance to be in the playoffs because they had the harder opponents. So I think the easiest way to do it would just be going straight to playoffs because that's going to leave every team like.
I
okay, we do
agree. I think they should go straight to the playoffs.
That was me who said that. Hayden.
You also,
But okay.
you also got to
Alright.
think if they do like 5 extra games, you also got to think people could get injured. LeBron James could get injured.
True.
Giannis
He could get injured at any point.
I think
know, but-
it'll be interesting if they do start the playoffs. I think it'll be interesting to see the impact, whether depending on the team, if it's an advantage or disadvantage of having home court.
See
'Cause
some
that could be a
upsets.
thing because even
Well, I
LeBron
mean,
said like that's what gives them energy. Like that's what like gets them excited to play all the time is having fans there. So it'll be interesting to see if no fans, the impact of that.
well, I mean, each person's gonna come in there 100% healthy. I mean, every team's gonna have their dudes. So
All right, Brax, do you have an opinion on that, or
Yeah. Well, I think the season, first off, what it's all about is I think it's going to start in June, but I think they are going to have a couple games because, I mean, as a former basketball player, being in game shape is totally different from being in any other
Wow.
type of shape. Yeah, you can't. And I saw Danny Green say something about that, and it's very true. You get it's a whole different another level, especially in the playoffs when you got to go hard every night. You got to. It's hard
I think
to.
it's kind of the same
shape.
as baseball. I think you got to have a week.
Yeah,
or two.
you got to. You have to see
Even if it's a
real
preseason,
stuff
even
coming
if
at
they're
you.
like just
Yep.
like preseason or pre-playoff, like
Well, I
scrimmages
mean,
or something. They got to
I
do
think
something.
that's why I think like the same thing with spring training. They're gonna have a few games before because like if you're gonna jump straight into the playoffs like that, these teams are gonna come off from not seeing any of the other like guys for like a couple months, and it's just like, oh hey, how you been? Like 2 months,
yeah,
and
it
it's
could
just
mess
like
up that team chemistry.
yeah,
you
it's
know?
It's just like it's
teams
coming
that are
off of
just
an
now
off season,
clicking.
starting the season. It's
Right.
like-
I mean, teams that like clicking right now, they're gonna struggle to get it back. So I
right?
think
Yeah.
they're gonna have a few games before.
They're gonna have to have a couple NBA games.
Have to.
Dale,
Just
do
the
you
way
agree
it's-
with this?
It'll be interesting to see how they work that out because of the games that are going to select a pick. If it's a
Yeah.
short
See
one.
that's.
that'll
I mean,
that'll
they
be
could
interesting.
they could be like, okay, we're gonna play the last 5 games, and then the playoffs are gonna start, and
See,
then
what I
whatever
would do
happens
is
happens.
I would give the teams a week or two in advance to plan for the playoffs. Because if your argument is, you can't plan to rush these guys back into playoffs because they have to play hard. I mean, the Pelicans and the Grizzlies, they're in a playoff push. Say you schedule in 5 games, they're still not in game shape, but they're playing like it's a playoffs because it basically is for them.
Yeah.
I would
But,
rather
I mean,
give
you
them
gotta-
a week
you
or
have to-
two, but give them a week or two to be like, okay, we got a game in 2 weeks. We got to get back in shape. And it won't be the shape you need to be in, but it'll be better than what you would have
Yeah.
been in. if
I
you
mean,
went
they're
straight
in
to the
shape.
game.
They're
All right,
they're
talking
working out
about
right now.
playoffs here. Talking about playoffs
Hey,
here.
no,
If
no. can I say
playoffs
something?
happen, yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
Dale's gonna.
Okay,
Go ahead.
so I'm gonna start off with the NBA first. Mark Cuban's the owner of the Dallas Mavericks. He
Yes,
said that
sir.
the over under is June 1st. It will be over June 1st, and I feel like the NBA. All right, so if out of the NBA and MLB, if one had to pick to do games before they actually start going back, I think it'd be the NBA because the NBA is on the tail end of their season. They're going right into the postseason. The MLB has to do their whole season. They have to play probably 140 games. So
Let's
I
be
feel like
honest.
More than that.
Let's
the
be honest.
NBA.
Sorry,
the
less
NBA,
than
Nobody really like me personally. I don't really like. I watch the games, but like I start watching once it hits playoff time.
The NBA has time to do more games. The MLB does not.
Right.
All right, we're gonna go into predictions for the playoffs if they were to happen right now. So we're gonna go ahead and go with Hayden. Hayden, what are your predictions?
Let's see. I think
Do game by game.
we're doing a game by game thing.
Yeah, just pick one and then you go game by game. I thought that's the way we should do it.
So I'll go. The Lakers going to beat the Grizzlies.
That's in 4 games.
Do we
Thank
want to
you.
all just like come to a consensus for each thing, or we can do it individually?
Yeah, no,
we'll
just
go ahead and-
Nate.
We'll go like this. We'll go first round. Everyone gives theirs for first round, then second round, then third round, then
Okay.
fourth round, and such.
You
I'll
mean-
go.
Make it somewhat quick.
All right, so I'll go Lakers beating the Grizzlies, Clippers beating the Mavericks. I'll go the Nuggets beating the Rockets, and I'm going to go the Thunder beating the Jazz. The Jazz were the team that started all this mess. I feel like mentally their players won't be there, so I got the Thunder beating them. And then in the East, I got Milwaukee, the Heat, the Celtics, and then Toronto. I got a full higher seed win in there.
Gotcha. All right, go ahead. Go, Colton.
I'm gonna start in the East. I got Milwaukee, Toronto, Boston, Miami. I mean, I think it's gonna be higher seeds that first round. The West, I got Lakers beating the Grizzlies in 4. Like that's just, I got my sleeper pick for the playoffs. I got Mavericks beating the Clippers.
That's
I think.
atrocious.
Who would have
That
guessed
is
by your
listen,
jersey?
Biased.
just-
That's biased. That's
No,
biased.
I'm just.
Yeah, it is.
I'll talk about my
It's
sleeper
biased.
later.
It's straight up
I got
biased.
All right, just keep going.
Denver
going.
and
Skip
OK.
that.
Denver and OKC.
Go ahead, Tim.
All right, I got LA over the Grizzlies in 6. I think the Grizzlies stretch them out. I got Clippers over
It's
Mavericks.
gonna be a sweep. I'm sorry.
I actually got Denver over the Rockets. That game could go 6 or 7. I got Utah over OKC, probably in 4 or 5, honestly. Bucks in 4. Raptors in 5 or 6. 76ers in probably 5 or 6 games. And then I think Indiana and the Heat go 7. But I'll take the Heat, actually. I'll take the Heat.
Go ahead, Tank.
Yeah, I got Lakers in 6. I got Nuggets. Then the Thunder. Just think the Jazz are out of it. And then the Clippers. Then in the East, I got Milwaukee, Toronto, Boston, and Miami.
Rex.
I got LA, both LA teams, Denver and Utah in the West. And then I got all higher seeds except for the Heat game against the Pacers in the East.
All right. Grayson.
I got the Lakers in 5. I think the Clippers will beat the Mavs in 5. I think the Rockets will beat Denver. And I think Utah will beat OKC. And then I got Milwaukee, Toronto, Boston, and Miami in the East.
Man, y'all are sleeping on the Mavericks. They got the top 3
Colton, shut up.
MVP
Colton,
candidate is there.
Colton, shut up. Colton, shut up.
Colton,
Head
I am dead asleep on the Mavericks right now.
You know what? There's
Feel
All
free
right,
to
Colton,
mute him.
shut up.
No, let him go. Tell me what you think there, Colton. And
With
Hayden,
the-
go ahead and
with the
reply.
Mavericks. Okay, so here this is why I got for the Mavericks. Luka Doncic is top.
Show your jersey real quick though. Show your jersey.
I am a
real quick.
Mavericks
Yeah.
fan. I
You saw
am
Grizzlies
Mavericks.
fans.
Listen,
You literally saw Grizzlies fans voting for the Lakers, but you're
do
over there with
does
the
anyone?
Mavericks. You
Okay,
had no.
let's all be honest. Does anyone really think
Hey,
the
the
Grizzlies are going to beat the Lakers?
Mavericks aren't really that bad.
The Mavericks
They're
are
not
they're-
beating.
I
They're
would-
not
I would-
beating.
they're-
We
they're
know
not
they're not
bad.
bad,
Not
but are
beat-
they better than the Clippers? At the
They're
end of
just-
the season?
There's
The
two
Grizzlies beat the
wins
Clippers
short.
this year.
Kawhi Leonard.
Hey, one at a
Short.
time.
Kawhi
One at a
Leonard
time.
backpacked
Listen,
the Raptors
listen.
to the
Let me
finals
finish.
last year.
Nolan,
He
I
had
got
12
this. I'll
points.
take the floor. I need to explain my reasoning. The Mavericks have 42 wins right now. Clippers have 44. That's 2 wins short. Mavericks also have 2
Dallas has
young
40 wins.
superstar. 40 wins. It's 4 wins short difference. Okay, that's not that big. I think
They
Luka's
have
a top.
7 less losses.
Oh my gosh,
7
Grayson!
more
Can
losses.
I finish, please?
Those
Just
4
stop
games
talking.
make it a
Grayson, let him
4-0
talk.
series.
Let me finish. Luka is a top 3 MVP candidate after the All-Star break. Mavericks have like 3 or 4 7-foot tall dudes. I'm just saying, if there's a sleeper team, the Mavericks could make a Cinderella run just because of Luka and Kristaps Porzingis.
How
I
many
just think
how many playoff games has that duo won?
this is their first time in the playoffs. Nobody's
Exactly.
seen them in the
I
Kawhi
got
just won the
something to
NBA
say.
Finals
I got
last
something to
year.
say.
He also left the Toronto Raptors.
right,
You're just going to tell me
and
that he's instantly going to go win with the
Go ahead and
Clippers?
let Grayson
The
talk.
Clippers
Go
are
ahead and let Grayson talk.
He has
I'm telling you, the
40
Mavericks are
teams.
sleepers.
The
Go and let
Mavericks,
Grayson talk.
the Mavericks are good. They're young.
They are good.
Luka and Kristaps, young duo. They're not gonna.
Can't
they're
forget
not
about
gonna-
Jalen
they're not
Brunson.
gonna go- They're not gonna go in, especially if there's not any fans in a playoff game with them behind them. They're not gonna go in and be greats like Kawhi and Paul George and the most deep team in the NBA. And with
Hey,
that
7-game
level of
series.
On a
defense,
on a
their
night-to-night
defense
basis,
is
they
incredible.
might take a couple, but in a 7-game series, they're not beating them.
No
full
way.
Okay, when the
times.
Mavericks
There's
made
not
their
happening.
run, listen, when the Mavericks made their run and won the title, they beat the defending champs
Completely different team.
first round. I'm just saying this is
How many
I'm
players
saying-
from that
Colton,
team you're
Colton,
describing
who
are on the
is
team
who
right
from
now?
that team
How
is
many?
on-
Yeah, name just one player on that team.
I say we
Oh,
move
Rick
on to the
Carlisle.
second
We
round.
still have the same coach. The same coach. He's been there. He's done that before.
That's like-
That's Rick Carlisle has
I
been
got something to say after
to the
Colton.
championship
All right,
2
y'all
times.
got 30 seconds to talk about this.
I'm saying the Mavericks are sleepers, and everybody's gonna sleep on
All
them
right,
because
Colton,
they're young.
I listen. The Cavs are the Mavs. They're good.
Cavs. We're not even in the same conference
Let
anymore,
him
Tank.
talk. Come on.
Okay, listen. The Mavs are good. All right. Luka
Yes.
and Kristaps, they're
Is
pretty
that it?
good. But where their seed is at the 7th seed, y'all
What's
just
that-
gave up the 6th seed. By
What
the
says
way,
what says within the 5 games they have at the end of the season they can't move up?
Kawhi
a seed?
It's been
will
30
lock
seconds.
down Luka.
All right. Next thing.
Next thing.
I've done my
I think I
predictions.
proved
Alright.
my point.
All right. We're going to moving on. We're going to go ahead and two awards, the NBA awards.
I haven't done my
Um,
predictions
we
yet.
got. Let's predict it a little bit more. Let
Yeah.
Dale do his first round predictions, and we'll do our final predictions.
Oh, my
yeah,
prediction
go
about to
ahead,
be
go ahead,
great.
go ahead, go ahead.
Thanks, Nolan. I appreciate it. I have the Lakers beating the Memphis Grizzlies, but I can see them getting one game. I've got the Jazz over the OKC. They have a better points per game and opponents' points per game. Nuggets over Houston. I think they play better defense, and we've seen what James Harden can do in the postseason. Clippers over Dallas, but they are my sleeper. Depends on if Luka can take over.
Thank you.
I got Bucks over Magic, Pacers over the Heat, Boston over the 76ers. Boston hasn't lost a first round in the postseason since 2015. Toronto over the Nets, and the Nets won't have KD and probably won't have Kyrie. So
As we were
that's what I
listening
got.
to Dale, we had a great behind the scenes of Grayson Munyon. He is exhibiting just incredible athletic prowess right now.
Grayson.
It's Gumby. Just let's move on with that.
But I guess for the NBA Finals,
Grizzlies fans these
we'll
days.
go again.
Jeez.
Yeah, go ahead.
I got the finals being the Lakers Bucks, and I got the Bucks pulling it out this year. I think as a team they worked the best together. They had a chance to win it last year and kind of choked against the Raptors, gave up those last two games. And I think Giannis is going to prove he's the best player this season, and he's going to bring a championship to Milwaukee, and then he'll get a mega contract and stay with Milwaukee for years to come.
Colton.
I think
I'm going.
I'm going to go Colton.
Y'all are gonna not like what I'm about to say. I got Mavericks and Milwaukee in the championship.
All right. We're gonna go ahead and Colton, you're done.
And then I got
Colton,
Milwaukee.
No,
I
Colton.
just got, and then I said
Colton.
Milwaukee.
Colton, you're done. Colton, you're
there's
done.
2 episodes in a row that he's made.
Colton, you're done.
Atrocious.
Two
Sam,
episodes in a row.
Hey, Hey,
Sam,
I said something the other day.
Colton,
and said,
Mute
okay,
him. Mute him. Mute
Colton,
him.
shut up. Colton, shut up. Sam. Colton's done. Or we'll give Sam a second. We're going to go, Brax, go ahead and tell me what you think.
Someone give it.
I got Clippers and Bucks in the finals, and I got Clippers winning it.
Luke.
I got same thing as Brax. Clippers and Bucks. Clippers winning it.
Crazy.
Grayson.
I have Clippers Bucks too. I think Clippers will win that. I think the Clippers will beat LA in the Western Conference Finals, and I think the Bucks will beat Toronto. But I think it's Clippers Bucks, and Clippers got it.
Go ahead, Dale.
I've got Lakers Bucks, and I've got Lakers winning that. I can't go against AD and LeBron in the postseason. I feel like there's not one thing that you can look at the Lakers team and say, hey, that's a weakness.
They don't have enough depth.
Yeah, depth. That's what I was thinking.
But hey, when LeBron James gets in playoff mode, when LeBron gets in playoff mode, he ain't coming out of the game.
No, I know. He's a baller.
He plays 40 minutes. I mean, it's incredible. But I feel like the finals will go like 6-7 games. I feel like Giannis is going to take over, and really LeBron and Giannis are going to go at it. But I think it's going to be a great postseason if it happens.
I hope so.
Dale, do you think it'll be a tougher series for the Lakers against the Bucks or the Clippers if they play the Clippers?
I honestly think the Clippers could make it a little better series. I feel like they're going to put more pressure on the Lakers.
Now, Clippers are never getting a home court advantage if there's fans in the stadium. They have the disadvantage every game.
Yeah. So
that's why I'm shocked that y'all have the Clippers making it, beating the Lakers in the Western Conference Finals.
But let me tell you what, the Lakers are going to have 2 tough series against the Clippers and the Bucks if they want to win this thing. So
all right, we're gonna have to move on to 2 awards. Or no, Sam, you still gotta go.
No, it's all good. I got the Lakers because playoff LeBron's a different breed, just same crap y'all have been saying. But let me say, it is absolutely absurd and disrespectful that the Dallas Mavericks will be in the NBA. That's so disrespectful to the rest of the league. No.
LeBron James.
I would borderline pick the
Mavericks
Grizzlies in a series over the Mavericks.
I think the
You
Grizzlies
are on. Okay, Grayson. I don't know what you're on.
No,
we don't have time for this. We don't have time for this.
Grizzlies over Mavericks is just absurd.
Colton,
It's absurd because it will never
Thank you for using my word.
I would have given you 20 minutes ago, Colton.
All right, let's go.
Sam, did you finish?
Yeah, I'm good. Let's go
Okay,
next topic.
we're gonna go and move on to the awards. We're gonna go award by award. We'll start off with MVP. Hayden,
Giannis. All I need to say.
Colton,
Giannis.
Sam,
Giannis. Dude's a freak.
Luke,
Giannis.
Grayson,
Freak.
Austin.
I think I'm gonna be the one guy to say LeBron James. LeBron James wins MVP.
Interesting. That's big. Let's go. Brax, thoughts?
LeBron for sure has got it on lockdown. Not gonna lie.
Lockdown?
What?
I wouldn't say
He's been
lock.
balling.
I wouldn't say lock, but I would say it's a good chance. Yeah.
He's
Big
been
facts.
inching.
Well,
He's
yeah,
been
I just
inching
don't-
up, but they're trying to make the narrative that LeBron should win. But Giannis has been in the front running the
Hey.
whole season, and he's still
I love
in the
Giannis
front
to
running.
death,
And
but
especially
LeBron,
with the shortened
It's so
season,
hard. They're
there's
not
no-
going to
LeBron's
give it
got
to
it.
him twice in a row. That's the only hard part. They do not like
Thank
to
you,
give.
They
Big
gave
Red.
it to LeBron
Thank you, Big
twice in a
Red.
row.
Yeah, but
I think
Yeah, just finna get it
LeBron has a
again.
better chance to win the MVP than the Dallas Mavericks do of getting out of the first round. I mean,
I'm
come on.
just saying
Okay. I
Giannis
don't know.
has been the MVP the
Just
whole
wait.
season.
Just wait. I
up
can't
to this
wait for the
point.
season
All
to
right, we're
start.
gonna
trying
go.
to
We're
build
gonna
it.
move on to the rookie of the year.
Wait,
We're gonna
hang
move
on, wait, Colton. Did you say Luka's going to MVP?
No, I said Giannis.
Okay, good.
Okay,
because
okay.
Just making sure.
All right, go ahead, Hayden, rookie of the year.
John Morant. Anyone that
this-
says Zion is on something.
If Zion played the whole season, I would have said Zion, but I got John Moran as well.
Sam.
Zion is a freak, but gotta go with my homeboy Ja. I mean, he's the leader of his team. He's come in. It's so hard to be a good point guard right in your rookie season, and you see it night in, night out. He's dicing up everybody. John Morant for sure. Unanimous.
Luke.
Left the Mavericks.
I'm gonna have to go John Morant just because he took this Grizzlies team that was supposedly rebuilding and made them to the 8th seed.
They are rebuilding.
Colton,
And that's
shut
why
up. Grayson.
John Morant, it's not close right now. If Zion would have played the full season, he would have won it, but it's not close right now.
Go ahead, Dale.
John Morant. He's averaging 17.6, 6.9, 3.5. And every single night he's putting on a highlight reel for, the NBA to watch. And he's also taking a team that's in year one of a rebuild into the 8th seed. It's John Morant, no questions about it.
Stat book guy Dale over
Go
there.
ahead, Brax.
I got my Murray State boy, John Morant,
John
my
Morant.
homie.
All right. Defensive player of the year, Hayden. Go ahead.
Giannis. The man's an animal.
You can tell
Uh,
Hayden likes Giannis.
Well, I mean, just go look
He's
at the
big
stats.
brother.
Giannis has
Hayden like Giannis as much as I
13.7
like
rebounds
Luka.
per game. He has a block per game and a steal per game. There's not a guy in the league that causes havoc than Giannis. Giannis has the speed of a point guard, but the build of a center. It's incredible, the build of that human being.
That's MVP. Like you're describing an MVP.
Colton.
Defensive player, I said Anthony Davis. I think he's been balling. Nothing's getting by him on the defensive side.
Go ahead, Sam.
Mike, I think it was Michael Jordan and Olajuwon, the only two people to ever win MVP and Depoy in the same year. But I think Giannis definitely does it this year. Like Hayden said, the stats are there. His opponents have a 42% field goal percentage at the rim against him, which is definitely the best in the league. And not to mention he gets a lot of blocks. Nobody ever really scores a lot on him. I definitely think it's Giannis.
Go ahead, Luke.
I got Anthony Davis just because I think Giannis is going to win MVP, and they already don't like giving MVP to people back to back, and I don't think there's no way they give him Defensive Player of the Year too. So I just got to go Anthony Davis.
Grayson.
I'm going to go Anthony Davis. In the games that I've watched Anthony Davis this year, he's just a freak in the middle.
He's on a different planet.
Giannis is too.
Giannis's
But,
nickname
I
is
mean,
Greek Freak.
Yeah, I know, but they can only give so many awards out, and I mean, I think Giannis is deserving of it, but I mean, Anthony Davis is just as deserving, and I think he'll probably get it.
Dale.
All right, this one's going to take a little convincing. With my defensive player of the year, I had Hassan Whiteside. Now, hear me out.
Jesus Christ.
Oh my Lord! I would have understood that like a few years ago when he was on the Heat, but
He leads the NBA in blocks per game with 3.1.
that's
He
blocks.
What else does he do though?
He averages half a steal a game and averages 10.2 defensive rebounds a game.
How many
Is
minutes does he play a game?
Yeah, is he starting?
I'm just saying.
Is he starting though? Because
It's his team in
I
the
think
playoffs.
Bam Adebayo has a better chance than him. He's not even the best on his team.
It's the Suns
Bam.
team in the
Hassan's
playoffs right
Hassan's
now.
in Portland.
Oh, he's in Portland.
Exactly.
I thought he was still in Miami. Yeah, his team's not even in the playoffs. They're not getting it to him. Sorry.
Valiant effort in convincing us, but the consensus was against you.
Yeah, you know, I'm not a big stats guy, but my boy Rudy Gobert shut that league up.
He shut the league down.
Man, there's so many good guys that play defense, but Giannis, yeah, I mean, you can't go wrong with him. Whoever they give it to, I think there's a lot of guys that could possibly get it, but Giannis probably.
It's just going to be so hard to win 2 big awards in the same year. I don't know if they'll do it or not.
All right,
I mean, we'll see.
6th man of the year, Hayden.
I mean, they should just rename the award Lou Williams Award. He's winning it again. 6 man, he's averaging 18.7 points a game, 5.7 assists, and 3.1 rebounds. The guy's just a walking bucket off the bench. What more do I need to say?
Cold.
I'm gonna say he's playing for the Clippers, but I'm going with Montrezl Harrell. I mean, he's been very solid off the bench. I mean,
Whatever stats.
laugh all you want.
Whatever stats.
I had him pulled up a second ago,
That's
but
his
we don't have
stats
time.
are.
Tank,
Trash.
I want to hear what you have. You go ahead.
Go ahead, Tank.
I'm
I would say-
picking the walking 6-man himself, Lou Williams.
Dude, he
has like 15 of them. He
Of
has
cou-
like 15.
Congrats. Did I ask? No.
Well, he's dropping 18 a game. I don't see you doing that.
I don't see you doing that either.
That just was an absurd
That
comment. to
was
make.
a horrible comment.
That was just absolutely.
Okay. Keep
Sam,
going.
6 man. Sam, 6 man.
Back in the day, they had nobody else to give it to. It was to Jamal Crawford. Now
Crossover, baby.
Not
Crossover.
in the league anymore. I think that Lou Will took a spot. If they had nobody else to give it to Lou Will. Clearly.
On Trezzy.
Grayson.
I mean, I think if anyone's out here watching games and you see Lou Will have the ball, you know he's about to drain it.
Yeah.
You can't give it to
He's so
anyone other than
cold.
Lou Will. I mean,
Hey,
he's just
Marco
a bucket.
Guduric is a sleeper, though.
I might have something on Marco Guduric.
Go ahead, Dale.
I mean, it's Lou Williams. When you average 18.6 points per game off the bench with a team with Paul George and Kawhi, it's absurd. And he also plays solid defense across the board. I mean, it's Lou Williams, no questions about it.
All right, B-Rex.
Yeah, I'm going with Mr. Let's get some buckets off the bench, Lou Will.
Man, I feel like everybody's getting to me tonight.
No, he sets
you-
it.
you're
No,
just playing
I.
Well,
Yeah,
that's how it's
right
supposed
now.
to be,
Hey,
Cole.
let me talk.
Go ahead.
Montrezl Harrell is a very good player, and I have a lot of respect for him. But yeah, you got to give it to Lou Will.
He ain't even the 6 man on his own team, Colton.
Hey, man. At least I got the team right.
Yeah, he's a baller though. Don't put any bad spell on his name because that dude is a monster.
He is.
Yeah.
Are we on the most improved player now?
Yes, we
Yeah, let's
are.
keep it pushing, boys.
I got 2 guys, Brandon Ingram and Devontae Graham. I think Brandon Ingram will probably end up winning it just because he's really taken the league over. But I think Devontae Graham needs to be in the discussion because last year he had 4.7 points per game, 1.4 rebounds, and 2.6 assists. And this series made it into 18.2 points per game, 7.5 assists per game, and 3.4 rebounds per game. But the argument can be made he's just on the Hornets, and they have no one else to give the ball to. So that's where his stats are coming from. But it's still a tremendous jump from this year to the next year. But I think they're going to give it to Brendan Ingram just because he's really been balling out.
All right. We'll get out of order. Go ahead, Luke.
I got Bam Adebayo winning.
Good
You know,
choice.
turned himself into an all-star this year. He's been one of the core pieces, one of the star pieces for the Heat. You know, pushed him into that playoff spot, and I got Bam.
Bam, bam.
Grayson.
I'm kind of like Hayden. I think Brandon Ingram will win it, but I think Devontae Graham is just as deserving, but he just doesn't have the name. I mean, I bet right now only about half of y'all know who Devontae Graham is.
Played at Kansas. He lit Texas Tech up every single game.
He's had a fantastic.
Yeah, he's a baller.
Dude's been a baller. I
And-
thought he was going to be bigger than this.
I mean, he deserves a name for it, but I think Brandon
Yeah.
Ingram.
I've got Brandon Ingram. When he was traded to New Orleans, he just needed a change of scenery. 24.2, 6.2, 4.3, 47 from the field. I mean, you can say that, the Pelicans don't have really any success this season.
What were his
but I mean,
stats last year, Dale?
I didn't write it down.
18.3, 5.1, 3.
But I mean, any
He's
success
going-
the Pelicans had this season is, around him. I mean, he's been phenomenal.
He's going from playing with LeBron James every night to he is the guy in
That's
New
what I'm
Orleans.
saying. I think New Orleans was the best thing for him because even when he was around, when the Lakers first drafted Lonzo, now granted he's still playing with Lonzo, but when they first drafted him, the main focus was Lonzo Ball. Like,
Yeah.
he never really got to shine. Now
Brandon
when he goes to New
Ingram,
Orleans, you see Zion getting drafted, but Zion's
He would
hurt.
just-
So he's their
Brandon-
main offensive weapon, and he's around veterans like Drew Holiday and Derek Favors and like JJ Redick. He can learn from them.
Ingram would just fit perfect in Memphis.
He would.
Yeah, he really
Awesome.
would.
Too bad he's not ever going to Memphis.
That you are right,
Awesome.
sir.
Awesome.
He already went.
Dale. Did he
Already
actually
won.
Already answered.
It just went.
Has Sam answered?
I already
Yeah.
did.
No,
I'll
Sam
go.
hasn't. Go ahead, Sam.
I
No,
just did.
Sam.
I'll go. So I kind of got three guys down, but I kind of I'm going with Bam. I think
Let's go.
he pushed Hassan Whiteside out of Miami. Like, the reason Hassan Whiteside's not there is because they had Bam, and he turned himself into an all-star. But I agree with Brandon Ingram, and I put Luka down just because he went from Rookie of the Year to pushing himself into the top 3 for an MVP.
How is that
season.
most improved? You won Rookie of the Year.
No, I'm saying he improved it. Okay, you see Rookie of the Years, they go from Rookie of the Year and just kind of stay there. But he kept going.
Right.
But that's
So
why
is
I'm saying.
Luca going to be your first son's name or second son? Like, which one is he going to be?
I think that
Yeah.
your takes with the Mavericks in the playoffs were atrocious. I think Luke, you could actually make a case for.
Yeah,
Luka.
that's why
That's a
agree.
decent case.
I
I
think
think
the
it-
picks for the
though.
Mavericks
I
in the
think
playoffs
it-
were also
I think it's
correct. but-
Brandon.
Hayden.
I've already answered the most improved with Ingram and Devontae Graham.
All right,
Because
next,
everyone went.
next award, yeah.
Jason Tatum. That's
Braxton
All
says
right.
Jason
Well,
Tatum.
we're gonna go to the blowtorch of the league. Who's gonna be the blowtorch of the league?
Let me go
of the
first. Let me go
National
first.
Basketball
no. Grayson needs to
Association.
go first.
We'll
Grayson.
go Braxton first this time. We'll go
Yeah, Braxton, you go
order.
first.
And I'm gonna pass my torch to Grayson.
Grayson's got a good take on this one.
I agree with everything Grayson says, but it never came out of my mouth.
I mean, okay, right here. You got a guy over here in Memphis, off the bench, rookie. We were pretty excited about him. Sharpshooter named Marco Guduric. Okay, we put him out in the game. I mean, he can't even hit the right side of a bar. I mean, it's just ridiculous. I mean, he cannot do anything. He comes into the league as a sharpshooter, and I mean, he just can't shoot. He can't play defense. He's just terrible. He's terrible. Whenever
ahead,
he's on
Luke.
the floor, I'm pissed.
Hey,
Go ahead, Phil.
also, our next person for that award, have to get Andre Iguodala, because he can f off.
Luke.
I'm still holding a grudge.
Way
I'm
to
still
keep it
holding a
clean, Brax.
grudge, and I know he hasn't
we
done anything
learned-
this year, but he absolutely screwed over the Memphis Grizzlies. Chandler Parson, blowtorch of the past 2 decades.
He also had a car crash.
We should just name the award.
The Chandler Parsons Award goes to
Hey, man, he might be out of a career with those recent.
Yeah,
car
he just got a
Yes.
car crash.
Yeah, he's done.
Now I feel bad for laughing, but he did suck.
Tank, what do you feel like, Tank? Go ahead, Tank.
Lord, I mean, I feel bad for Chandler Parsons, but he sucks. He's horrible. He's bad. Like he got paid $1.50 to
He was
suck.
good in Dallas as a thing.
No, he
good.
wasn't.
No, he was
He
good.
didn't
He
even
was good.
play.
It was good in
He was good
Houston,
in Houston.
too.
He was
Yeah,
good in
Dude,
Houston.
He played. We had him for 4 seasons. He played maybe 1 season combined.
I'm being honest.
Okay.
My grandma
Hey,
has
we gotta
stronger bones
get
than
this
Chandler
going. We gotta
Parsons.
get this going. All right, Dale.
I've got Joakim Noah.
Dude, Joakim Noah's a beast.
The past 2 seasons, 7.1 points per game, 5.1 points per game. His career points per game, he averages 28 minutes a game, 8.8.
8.8.
Dale, that's
Was a
a
defensive player. of the
That's
year.
not
I do not
terrible.
agree with that take at all.
Yeah, I do not agree. with
Joakim
that
We're
Noah
just gonna
came
move on from
Joakim
him.
Noah
He
came
was
in
a
the Memphis
baller in
Hey,
Chicago.
and played
we
fantastic.
gotta. All right,
Go ahead.
go ahead, Colton.
I had Contavious Caldwell Pope. If y'all watched him at all this season, this dude was throwing the ball off the glass and nobody was there. I mean, he
Oh,
couldn't
man.
hit a shot to save his life, but
Hey, I have a question. Why don't we
He's a
rename
good-
it the
he's a good
Why don't we
player, too.
rename it the Kwame Brown Award?
I'm down.
No.
This man's a bona fide scrub. He
He
can't
can't play. All right, Nolan, you got anything else?
I got my boner.
Yeah, Hayden.
Oh yeah,
It's Draymond Green. He shoots with the backpack on. He's a kid in the group project that doesn't do anything. I mean, this year they lose everybody but Draymond, and they're just terrible. And now he's out there challenging Charles Barkley about who's better. Charles Barkley's in the Hall of Fame. Draymond Green was the fourth best player on his team when they won the championship. He's averaging 8 points, 6 rebounds, and 6 assists on one of the worst teams in the NBA right now. He's just,
Honestly-
he's a
Hey, I
walking
got an
Honestly-
honorable. I got an honorable mention as Patrick Beverly. He scores 1 point a game, but yet talks out of anybody.
His,
in the
his,
league.
de- his defense is clams.
His defense is
Hey.
close, but he still scores 1 point a game.
When
Patrick
John
Beverly-
Morant, when
Yeah.
John Morant goes against him, he can't do
That's the
anything.
last question.
Pat Bev's talking like 30 points a game and he's
All right.
scoring 1.
Yeah.
That's the last question for this episode. So we're gonna have to end it here. It's been a sports podcast about sports with 8 straight guys talking about sports, and we'll see. We'll see you on episode 3.
Adios. Go Mavs, baby.
Bye.